We're rapidly entering a very unique period where unsolved crime is really a choice. The several decades preceding Othram in forensics have been centered around the idea of matching. So does the 20 markers of information that make up your DNA profile match what might be in a database like CODIS from a crime scene? And the challenge there is that when you're matching things, two things are true. One is that you have to already know what you're matching against, so you need a reference comparison. And the second thing is that if you're requiring a match, you're, by virtue of that match, essentially confirming something at the end of an investigation. So you may suspect the involvement of this person or that person, and then again, based on a DNA profile, on a fingerprint, you might look for a confirmation that the person you think was involved was involved. The work we do at Othram is fundamentally different in that we're trying to shift the forensic investigation away from matching to inference. And so we call the work that we do identity inference. Instead of taking some kind of data and matching it to data that we already have in a database, we're instead collecting whatever data is available and then trying to draw a conclusion from the incomplete and imperfect information that's available at the crime scene to make some kind of inference about who someone is, or at least narrow the search for who someone is. In this identity inference pipeline, there's basically 3 steps that we're constantly working on and optimizing for. In the first step, we're digitizing physical evidence. We've got physical evidence, ideally DNA evidence, that's been left at a crime scene, and we've got to take that physical evidence and translate it into something that can go onto a computer digitally. And once we've done that, the second part of this process is developing essentially the signal that we're going to use for inference. And that signal is the DNA profile. The signal is a translation of that digital data from the physical evidence to something that can be used in a search, for example, in a genetic genealogy database search. So the second phase is basically preparing the signal. And in this last stage, we're basically performing what I call inference. And this inference step is where you take that signal, produce the relatives, the other kinds of contextual information that you might learn by geographical ancestry, other kinds of data points that give you some context, and translate that eventually into a network of relationships that some people call essentially your genealogical tree, and use that to then point to an identity hypothesis. I think that the person you're looking for is this person or is related to this person. But the whole point is to take physical evidence and produce an identity hypothesis. That's what identity inference is. It reduces the chance for error. It certainly reduces the chance for bias. The other great thing about inference is that it allows us to utilize the technique early in the investigation instead of later in the investigation. So instead of waiting to figure out who someone is and then going back to see if we can confirm that using a forensic tool, we can, at the very beginning, say, what is this data telling us and where is it leading? So instead of driving the investigation by hypothesis, let the data be the guide and see where the data takes us. It's the combination of all these pieces expertly coordinated so that we have the best chance at taking that physical evidence and producing at the other end of it a hypothesis as to who that person is.